Hello everyone, this is Agarajat from Rayn Studios. So in today's video, I want to talk about two things which young developers or developers who are very early in their journey as far as development is concerned should steer clear of. These two things are staying in a tutorial purgatory, and the second thing is completing a tutorial without properly understanding what is happening in the tutorial. So let's talk about being in a tutorial purgatory. So I read this one article on Free Code Camp, and the author talked about that most of the young folks like to jump from one tutorial to other tutorial, and they like to get that adrenaline rush of finishing a tutorial and thinking that they have learned something, but at the end of the day they don't actually try that code on their own. They don't actually write any code, and they never start as a proper software developer. So the thing is, see, when you are jumping from one code tutorial to other code tutorial without trying, you are actually not learning anything new. Although you can believe that you have learned so many facts and so many interesting things, but when it comes to practice, you will not be able to reiterate all of those instructions on your own, right? So you have to make sure that after completing a video course or a blog post, you put that new knowledge to practice. You create some programs on your own and you try to reverse engineer things, you try to break things apart and try to put them back together later on. So only when you can do that, you can be assured that from that particular video tutorial or blog post you have gained something. So I would request you all to just not hop from one video tutorial to other video tutorial. Make sure after completing the tutorial you try to write some real world programs using your new knowledge. See, the problem with this staying in a tutorial purgatory approach is that although you are getting an adrenaline rush, but that adrenaline rush is a fake thing, because you would not be able to demonstrate all of those new skills if a time arrived, because human mind forgets almost 80% of the material it has learned within 1 or 2 days. I have already recorded a video about it which you can watch on my Rayn Studios YouTube channel. So you have to give it proper revisions in order to drill down facts properly inside the brain, and in order to allow you to recall stuff like with faster pace, right? So make sure to not jump from tutorial to tutorial without even trying. The second issue is closely tied up to this tutorial purgatory thing. See, when you complete a tutorial and you actually don't understand what just happened inside a tutorial, you have received no substantial knowledge from the tutorial. The tutorial is just like a sandbox environment where somebody is walking you down the source code holding your hand, right? But it is your duty to understand what is happening, why the code is structured in a way it is, and why certain frameworks or libraries are being used in that tutorial video. So because only when you can do that, you can be sure that you understand what this code is all about and how you can create your own version of that same code, because in real world you will find no proper tutorials which you can copy paste from, right? So you have to understand things, you have to understand the code line by line, right? So make sure to reverse engineer the code you have seen in a tutorial video or blog and try to understand every single line that is there in that particular tutorial. That will give you proper insights about several design patterns, what is happening, what sort of decisions were made, why those decisions were made, and what kind of assumptions you can make in your own code in order to make your code performant enough and while keeping it really simple. So you will learn several trade-offs as well, but that can only happen when you try to reverse engineer things on your own. So if a tutorial contains 20 lines of code, make sure you understand all of those 20 lines. If it required any sort of research, you would have to do that in case you actually want to learn anything from the tutorial, because if you only understand half of the stuff, you are as good as the half of that tutorial. You haven't received the proper meat of the tutorial, and you would not be able to recreate the tutorial on your own if I give you an empty text editor, right? So make sure you understand the code line by line. That will give you enough opportunities to research on your own and to learn from others, like what sort of decisions, assumptions and trade-offs can be made in order to write real world applications. So these were the two things, like being in a tutorial purgatory and not understanding the tutorials code fully, which I wanted to talk about in this video, because I don't really want you to waste your time doing tutorials and gaining nothing out of it except the adrenaline rush and except a fake impression or a belief in your mind that you have gained new knowledge. But in reality, that new knowledge is of no use in case you cannot write any real world programs using your new knowledge. So in case you are interested in learning more about issues and tips and tricks like this one, you follow me on my Rayn Studios IGTV channel, and you follow me on YouTube Rayn Studios, Rayn Studios YouTube channel. And I'll see you around. Take care. Bye bye.